What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone for not a very long life, but it's a here we go Thuram who is going to sign for us. It's a third signing after Douglas Luiz and Di Gregorio. He will probably be having his medicals tomorrow morning, so basically in about 12 hours, so so that he can be ready for preseason that actually kicks off on Wednesday with fitness tests and all that, jizz. So no Olympics for Thuram, because that was maybe a kind of a fear among fans, or like a worry that he was going to be just gone, basically for all of August at that point. And that you have a signing that was not going to be ready to actually slot in. But that's not going to be the case. He's going to be here, and he's going to start preseason with the club. And actually, the way things are setting up, he might actually start game one against Como at this pace, because we're not sure if Rabiot is going to be here. And actually, he's still on holiday, even if he's going to be here. Koopmeiners is not here. Yes, you got Douglas Luiz. You got Fagioli, Locatelli, but I think he has a fair shot actually playing in game one, considering how things are being set up right now. But the package of the Thuram deal is about 25 million euros. His wage is surprisingly very, very cheap. I've seen 2.2, I've seen 2.5, so let's say it's 2.5. Let's call it 2.5, which is, I don't like, going off today's wages and actually going off the wages we had at the club lately. It's a steal. It's a very cheap deal. Even if it doesn't work out, it's a wage you can actually work with if you consider moving him on. Not that that's obviously the main priority, moving Thuram on. That's not the first thought process. But 2.5 million is not a lot of money. It's half what McKennie was asking, for example. And I think that's, again, not like for like changes, but, if you are Giuntoli and you see these things being set up, you're like, okay, this is fantastic, rather than giving McKennie, for example, or what he's asking, 3.8 apparently, money, but we're not really convinced on the player. So the deal in itself is, like, from financial aspect, very favorable, very good for us, very decent. You can work with that, and the player in itself, I will do a video on that. Probably will release that on Sunday, most likely. The coach's corner on Thuram, so stay tuned for that. But the player in itself, the profile, somebody said Rabiot doesn't really have a spot on this team anymore. It feels like he is the replacement for Rabiot. Maybe not, starting from day one, which I do think is going to happen purely based on how the things are going, squad building. But like for like, in terms of ability and maybe profile wise, it feels like he is Rabiot's replacement. I know the reports are suggesting that no matter that we got Thuram, that Rabiot is still a possibility that he's going to stay, because the club still wants him to stay. But just going off the latest updates, it doesn't feel like Rabiot is going to be at the club. It doesn't feel like Rabiot is actually going to be here beyond the summer. Actually, he's not a player of the club officially anymore. And I don't get the vibe that he wants to be here. I don't get the vibe that we are his main priority. And if that's the case, then you just need to move on. Like, being the club, you just need to tell Rabiot that forget about the offer we kind of made you, what was it, a month ago or so. If you need to take so much time and he's just waiting on a better offer, at that point, just move on. If a club, if you offer a player who played for the club for 5 seasons a contract, and he's still sitting there waiting on a better offer, being this club, you should tell Rabiot, you don't want to be here. Goodbye. It's done. Move on. Find another offer, and we don't care anymore. Because now you are waiting, or reportedly waiting on a player who played for the club and is still not sure if he wants to be part of the club. And that's not a knock on him. If he doesn't want to be part of this club anymore, everybody is free to do what he wants. If he wants to play elsewhere, good. But if you are waiting, actually playing a waiting game on that one better offer, then you don't want to be here. The commitment level is not what it should be, in my opinion. Actually, hasn't been over 5 seasons, because otherwise that would have translated a more quality on the pitch. So you kind of need to move on from that Rabiot situation. There are actually no reports on Rabiot the last 2 weeks, basically, besides him giving an interview or saying that I'll decide basically kind of after the Euros, which we already knew the moment Euros kicked off. But yeah, going back on Thuram, the deal, again, it's a good deal. Probably not the main priority. Not probably. It wasn't the main priority. The start of January, no. The start of May or the end of May, I think nobody was talking about Thuram as a target. I think the club kind of got involved into it the moment they saw Rabiot was taking ages, and they were like, okay, we just need to kind of move on already. And they saw an opportunity, and they took it. They took that opportunity. They signed Thuram. The deal in itself, again, it's a good deal. You know, if you like the player or dislike the player, we will see in due time. I think it's more important that we don't misprofile certain players, because he's not a tacky player. If some, he's good on the ball, but like you're getting more of a hardworking player. That's how I view Thuram, and that's fine. That's fine. I think you need that in a team, and yeah, all in all, a good move. Maybe a move that everybody was expecting we were gonna do the end of July, start of August. Maybe that's where now we're linked to Thuram and the club is moving Thuram, because I think everybody, me included, were more inclined, or like we were more convinced about the potential fact that Giuntoli was now sitting around the table, and we were getting consistently Koopmeiners updates because he is the main target, or Calafiori updates, but actually we're getting absolutely none, like zero Koopmeiners updates, which is kind of confusing, and to a point where I'm like, is he really the main target? Because if he's the main target and there's absolutely zero updates on Koopmeiners, like not even a potential offer is going in today, because I've seen the reports last week, it's going in today, tomorrow, and it's 3 days afterwards, and nobody has a report on the bid. That means they don't know when the bid is going in from Juve. But preseason is alive. Like, it's alive and kicking, and if Koopmeiners is your main target, you better start making that first move now, because you cannot wait another 2 weeks before you actually put that a first offer in, because then it's kind of too late, especially considering what Atalanta are demanding at this moment in time. Let me see a few of the chat, and people hit the like button and subscribe. It's not going to be a very long live, by the way. Just quick talk, and then we head out. I don't want to see Rabiot anymore. That's not from me. That's from Misik. Do you think there will be some big news today? I don't know. There's no feeling there will be, so I'm assuming no. Usually in a day where a lot of things happen, Keane having his medicals, Motta coming to the club, usually don't get much of a breaking news that day. So I'm going to say no, but you never know. Fagioli and Locatelli will have to fight for their spot on the starting 11. Finally, a good midfield, only if Cope arrives. On Fagioli, I want to talk about Fagioli in a second. Sancho, any update? The update is that he's waiting on us, and the club is asking him to be patient, because Chiesa is taking his time. It's not really jumping of joy to join Roma, even though Roma and Juve will agree a deal within hours, basically. Is just Chiesa is holding up everything, and apparently Giuntoli is not happy about that. But then again, the player can do what the hell he wants, so we cannot really complain about that. I saw someone say we need Emre Can back. No, we do not, on Twitter, and I was like, thank God Juve fans are not in charge of the transfers. There's no way any sane person said we need Emre Can back. We didn't need Emre Can when we had him, if I'm being completely honest. Like, very limited player again, and if you watched him play that first half against Spain, holy hell, that was not good, to say, to put it nicely. They say Juve will offer in a few days for Koopmeiners, but that was like Thursday. Yeah, they have absolutely no idea. Koopmeiners, Douglas Luiz, Thuram, Locatelli, Rabiot, Fagioli is the best midfield in Serie A. I disagree. for the simple fact that I've not seen it on the pitch. Inter have the best midfield in Serie A. Things can look good on paper, but the moment I see it on pitch is where we should be making our mind up, because a lot of things look good on paper. And then when you put them out there and it doesn't function it and it looks rubbish, then, well, paper means nothing. So, yeah, how do you rank among Serie A in terms of quality midfield for first, second, or third? Well, that's what I just said. I don't know. On paper, it's up there, but if it goes out there on the field and it looks rubbish, it looks like it doesn't work, it looks like it lacks so many things, and then yeah, then we don't know. We've not seen it. Like, we can start a whole new midfield on match day 1. It could actually happen. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it could happen, and that's also a worry point a lot of have, that we might be changing too much. I saw, somebody making a point that we should basically stop right now because we're changing too much and we need to wait for next season. And I'm like, no, we do not. There is a lot of change. But then again, Motta comes in. Even if we kept the old players, the change was going to be anyway. Like, there was going to be a change anyway, even for the old players. So I don't really think it's going to be tougher on Motta to change all players than old and new players. It's just, for him, it's all new players, and for the old players, it's also all going to be new, the way we play, everything. So I'm not really on that side. I think just change as much as you can and change it as good as possible, because we need change. Nobody wants a repeat of the last 3 seasons or so, or 4 seasons, whatever. Like, nobody wants to see that again. And to avoid that, well, we need more quality, and we need a new way of thinking actually on the pitch, playing, because everything the last 3 years was bad. Like, there's nothing good of the last 3 years. How Roma gives us some youngsters in Chiesa deal. They have some very talented. No, I want cash. I don't want under 90s. I just want cash. We need cash. I don't want under 19s from Roma. Even though they might be good, we just need cash on this moment in time. On paper, it's the best midfield, so that means no excuses for Motta, and quality for that midfield at least. I don't think even on paper. I still think Inter's midfield on paper looks more complete. So I disagree with that. It needs to happen on the pitch. On paper means absolutely nothing. On paper, we had Cristiano Ronaldo. In the Champions League, on the field, we looked poor. We didn't look good. And we had Cristiano Ronaldo on paper, still at the top at the time. On paper, it looked like we were going to smash teams. Cancelo, Dybala. On the field, we were not doing that. So, whatever. Like, it didn't work, We tried to play everybody in that team, and it didn't work, I don't know. Like, you have Douglas Luiz. If you sign Koopmeiners, you have Thuram, you have Locatelli, you have Fagioli. Where are you all going to play them? Like, there needs to be some sort of balance, and that's on Motta to figure it out. And only time will tell. Like, not even, like, preseason will tell us a little bit more, but on paper, I don't really care on paper, to be honest. Inter are still number 1. We haven't got anyone as good as Çalhanoğlu, but hopefully we've closed the gap. Çalhanoğlu is unbelievable. He's playing unbelievable right now. Inter, Juve, Atalanta. On paper, it's second best. Koopmeiners, Luiz, and Barella would be the combined midfield for Inter, Juve. Let's be real. There's no way you're leaving out Çalhanoğlu at this moment in time. I'm sorry. There's absolutely no way. And it kind of pains me to say, but there's absolutely no way you can leave Çalhanoğlu out. Çalhanoğlu has been the best midfielder in the league. And I don't think it's even close, to be honest. So I think it's crazy to... I'm sorry, but I think it's crazy to say that he would not be in that midfield, I know he talks big, saying he's top, whatever, or he's the best playmaker in the world, he said. Maybe that's or whatever, but he believes in himself. Good, but it's not that of a ridiculous shout, if we're being completely honest. If you watch Euros as well, he's just good. Like, he's very good, and he's ridiculously good at this moment in time. So he will definitely be in that midfield because he has been the best midfielder in Serie A. So, yeah, that's that. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. The the Sancho news. Excuse me, the Sancho news. Apparently, that means you guys must be pissed with signing Luiz and Thuram for 70 combined when we could be one player in midfield who's better for that price. I don't get your point. Unless you thought we were getting Çalhanoğlu, I don't really understand that point, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, on Jadon Sancho, apparently, according to Pedula, he refused an offer from the Premier League slash the Turkish league, a good offer. I don't even know what that means. A good offer, is it money wise? Because if it's the Turkish league, it must be money wise if you're being Sancho. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what the good offer looks like. He refused that offer because he's waiting on Juve. The point or the issue is that Juve is waiting on Chiesa. And they basically told Jadon Sancho to kind of hold out, wait a little bit so they can see what Chiesa is going to do, what the time frame could be for Chiesa before they actually knock on Man U's door and say, we have an agreement with the player. What do you want to do about it? We know you want him out. We know you probably don't want him in training with Ten Hag. So what are we going to do about it? But again, like I said 5 minutes ago or so, right now, the issue, and it's an issue for Giuntoli, I'll call it an issue because it is an issue for Giuntoli, is that he made his mind up that he is about to accept 25 plus bonus for Chiesa, and he knows Roma is willing to pay that. The problem is that that Chiesa is not really willing to join Roma from the get-go. He is basically waiting until a bigger offer comes in, or a better offer comes in from a team that potentially competes or play Champions League football consistently. And I saw a lot of people be mad about that, and I don't really understand it. If I'm Chiesa, I don't want to join Roma. I'm not gonna lie, and that's not being disrespectful, but like, I don't want to do that. It's probably gonna be your last quote unquote big move. I'm sorry, like, I don't want to join Roma. Like, historically, last, I don't know, 20 years or so, whatever, if you look at Roma, they don't win. They're in and out of the Champions League. Do you really want to be part of that culture? Do you really want to make that move? So I don't blame Chiesa for sitting there and hoping a better offer comes in, or maybe he knows a better offer comes in. I don't know. But you cannot really blame Chiesa for doing so, because I would be doing the same freaking thing. I would. Like, the only way I was joining Roma, if I was a diehard Roma fan, I was like, yeah, screw it. Finally a chance to join Roma. Other than that, I'm waiting until I have a better option. And even a better option is Aston Villa right now. And I'm being that serious. It's a better option for him. Playing that type of football, play in the Premier League, play Champions League football, put you on the map, I guess, I would do that. I really would. I wouldn't join Roma, because if I'm not winning and not competing, then I'd rather do that, in my opinion, in the Premier League. Been doing it in the league already with Juve, I would change. And I would go to the Premier League. But again, that's on him. Maybe in 2 weeks' times, when he has no offers, he might be like, okay, I just need to move on, and it will be Roma. I'm not so sure. But right now, that's kind of the issue for Giuntoli and for getting Jadon Sancho or whatever winger to replace Chiesa, is that Chiesa is taking his time, as expected, to be honest. I don't think there's any shocking developments surrounding that. But he's waiting, he's taking his time, and Giuntoli is kind of annoyed. He must be annoyed. Sancho will be instantly the best winger in Serie A. He will silence all the brain dead haters. Well, that's a wild shout. There's any update about the Chilio? He's leaving. I don't know. I will look it up on September 1st if he's still at the club. I have absolutely no idea on the Chilio. Where did Roma get money for Lafi, Chiesa, and Sorlot? I don't know. Lukaku's wage, maybe. Inter Juve combined midfield, Koopmeiners, Çalhanoğlu. That means for Juve to get someone in over Barella, you would add 70 million midfielder instead of Thuram and Luiz combined cost. Yeah, but the deal of Douglas Luiz is not 50 million in cash. Everybody knows how that deal was set up, and I'm talking about right now. Today, because I've not seen Douglas Luiz or Thuram kick a ball for this club. I've seen Barella, Çalhanoğlu kick ball for Inter for 2 seasons. That's actually very simple. So that's all I'm saying. And yes, I would rather have a 70 million euro midfielder. I would rather sign, I don't know, Bernardo Silva or a Rodri type of player, but be realistic. That's all I can say. Why do all journalists know who we want to sign? Giuntoli is already in a lose-lose situation in any negotiation. What do you think? No. like, no. Like, journalists, they leak stuff. Giuntoli leaks stuff to the media. Agents leak stuff to the media. Players leak stuff to the media. Like, it's the game. Like, I don't see the issue right there, to be honest. I don't get it. Oh my god, you got Thuram to join the live. Did I? Douglas had a better season than Barella. Is Thuram or CDM? I don't know who our CDM is. I don't know how he's gonna set up. I have no clue how Motta's gonna set up. I'm not gonna lie. That's why preseason is gonna be telling, because I think it will kind of set out the guidelines for game one already. I don't think he's gonna experiment a lot. I think he will start with something, and that's what he's gonna push on until potentially, or like hopefully not, it doesn't look good, and he definitely needs to change something. But this season, or like this summer, this couple of weeks, I think he will push his one thing out there, and that's what we're gonna do. And probably in preseason, you will see us play a setup with very random players, but it's just the idea of this is gonna be the setup. This is gonna be the idea of what we're gonna do. And if Danilo is back, or Bremer is back from vacation or from holiday, and that player is back, or we sign that player, I'm just gonna plug them in that setup and that idea, because whoever already has been in preseason know what the idea is, and the new ones just need to adapt. So that's what I think is gonna happen. But we just need to wait and see until preseason. Maybe when he does his presser, which is still not being announced. So I have no idea when he's doing his first presser for the club. Maybe it will be question about it. Hopefully, it will be more in-depth questions and not so much box standard questions Allegri got pre-game, where I'm like, I'm not sure that I actually need to listen to this, because it had most of the time nothing to do with the games. Or there was no tactical insight. There was no real, I don't know, like questions you actually needed to think about. And the answer was like, okay, we have something to talk about here. It's just boring standard questions week in, week out. You didn't really get much out of it. And hopefully that kind of changed. If you watch Bologna's pressers, I'm assuming we will get more out of out of Motta and the way we actually play, or what he's trying to do, than Allegri saying, I think Chiesa is a second striker, and that's it. No explanation. True, I thought Luiz CDM until your video. No, Douglas Luiz cannot be a defensive midfielder at all. Like, that's not gonna happen, by the way. But that's just suicide for him and for the team as well. Motta played a 4-1-4-1 and a 4-2-3-1 for the majority of the games last year. He did, but I don't know which profiles he's gonna get. Maybe he needs to adapt. I have no idea. We might be signing Koopmeiners, but actually there's no offer being made. What is gonna happen at the back? Who's gonna be his winger? So I don't really know what's gonna happen. So we can set up a team with potential signings, but we need to wait and see. Someone says Douglas Luiz is average. That's your opinion. You could be completely right. I disagree. I don't think he's average. I don't think he's world class or something. I think he's a good player. But yeah. Why did Fabrizio Romano say that for Juve to sign Koopmeiners and Sancho, we need Chiesa to go, but he's only 20 million? He said that? I didn't see that. Maybe he said to sign one of them. I don't know. I've not seen the report. We definitely need to sell players, and one of them is going to be Chiesa. 25 million is not a lot, but it probably will cover Sancho to that extent if it's going to be a loan deal. What do you think? What do you think of our rivals? What do I think of our rivals? I think Inter are the main candidates again, because they have lost nothing. And they are adding a few pieces here and there. So they are just ready-made again to go again and to try and win it again. That's it. Milan need a lot of work, in my opinion, on certain, especially at the back. They need some work, and also up front. And it feels like they are taking their time. They're taking a lot of time to make a move. So that might look a bit, weird, but they got a new coach, and maybe he gets more out of the players that were already there. Napoli have Conte. I don't know. I'm just waiting on the moves. They got Spinazzola, but I'm not really sure what that does. Probably is gonna miss, I don't know, 75% of the games or so. Hope not for his sake, but I'm not sure what to make of that signing. And then Roma, yeah, I think Roma are gonna be Roma. And Atalanta are gonna be Atalanta. They stayed the way they are, the way they were. Might lose Koopmeiners, got Zaniolo. Probably will turn into a demon under Gasparini, but I don't know. I just need to wait until the end of August before we can make a prediction right now. Formations doesn't matter for Motta. Nobody in modern football sticks to formation. Everything about roles of players. All those formations are just numbers and nothing more. I get it, and I agree, but it's still, to a certain extent, it happen. Like, you need to acknowledge that you cannot play Koopmeiners and Douglas Luiz in a 2, for example. Like, that's just not going to work. It's suicide defensively. So formations kind of work. Like, the idea of certain players in certain positions still applies, even though it's, according to Motta, not a fixed position. I get it, but like, you need to have a player with defensive abilities in midfield and one with more attacking abilities. So there needs to be a balance. But as of now, I don't know if he's going to start Locatelli or if he's going to start Fagioli. Like, nobody knows. It's funny how Juve need to sell a big player apparently, but it's Chiesa for 20 million. Why not like Wea or Gatti for that low? Because of the contract situation. He's out of contract and the club doesn't really believe him. And also he has high costs and wages. So that's kind of about it. I think people are overrating wingers under Motta. I don't think he values him that much. As much as most of the game will be played through the mid and from our strikers. Could be. Maybe that's why we were linked to it. Salamakers. I don't know. But it could be. Like, it could be. If he doesn't rate Chiesa, or if he's like very open and very calm about the fact that Chiesa can leave and he's like, whatever, who else comes in, I will make it work. You might suggest that that's true. He doesn't really value wingers. He doesn't value a player who is a one-trick pony, basically. That's what he said. Like, he likes players who do not need one position and that's it. They can only play one position. They like players who can adapt. He likes players who can adapt, who can play multiple positions and can do multiple things, And actually being linked with Sancho is a bit weird to that extent. I'm not going to lie. But let's see. Maybe it's not Sancho. Maybe it's not Koopmeiners. We don't know. We don't know because we didn't know anything about Thuram until it popped up and it was basically done in a matter of 2-3 days. So who knows what else he has up his sleeves. Who will you take out of Gnabry, Sané, Koopmeiners if Bayern offered a swap deal? A swap for who? Who are we gonna swap? I don't know. Koopman, I like Koopman. Probably Koopman for me is the most talented out of them all. He's injured. I don't like Sané. And actually Gnabry had one very good season and then he went back to Gnabry basically. So I don't know. Probably Koopman still. Yeah, that's it. No big updates as of now. So let's see what tomorrow will bring. Thuram will have his medical. I think we're all just waiting on that bid for Koopmeiners to see if we are close or so far off that the club might be like, okay, it's done, or even fans might just move on. Get it going, get another main target. I don't know. But it's just it's weird. It's actually weird. It's the second week of July, and we didn't make any bid for our main target, and the other main target is going to Arsenal. So it is a weird. I don't know. It's a weird feeling because we are signing players, but the main targets are still not being signed or not really being discussed, and it's very strange. I'm not gonna lie, it's very strange. That being said, we still need to sell quite a lot of players. The first offer could be 45 plus 5, maybe could be. But that's far off, man. That's if they want 60, they're just gonna have a good laugh at that. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually they're actually gonna have a good laugh about that. If that's a move, if that's the offer, you're actually very far off. You're very far off. It's basically 50 million off because knowing the club, those 5 million in bonuses will be ridiculous to achieve. So I don't know. If you really want Koopman, actually, I think that's more than enough. If we pay, I was actually thinking about like 40 plus 5, and that's like, okay, that's the max. I also refuse to believe that the club is paying up to 60 million for Koopmeiners. They shouldn't, but I refuse to believe. I don't think they will because that's crazy. You know, I like Koopmeiners, but like 60 mil, that's like that needs to be a game changer, or like, and he could be a game changer based on what we had last season. But with game changer, I mean like almost one of a kind type of player where you're like, okay, he's really special, and the Koopmeiner's not really special. He's just really good. But other than that, 60 is insane. It's insane. Sancho reminds me of Pulisic. Great at Dortmund, flopped at the big PL club, and now looks to be on the move to a big Italian club. Sancho is better than 2, and Pulisic got 15 goals and 10 assists last season. Is any other team in on Cope? No. Or Liverpool asked for information, but according to the news, he told Liverpool, thanks, but I want to join Juve, and that's about it. There's no real other interest for Koopmeiners, just us bidding against ourselves right now. That's what it is. So maybe that's playing into advantage, because they promised Koopmeiners a move. So maybe if there's no other offer, the club can figure something out. But yeah, let's see. Special cost 100 or more these days. I don't mean special with, I don't know, like name the player, Mbappe, not that special, but like Calafiori is not 100, but he has something special. That's what I mean. And he doesn't cost 100, he costs 50 or whatever, but he has something special compared to your average defender. Like something stands out among the average defender, like the normal defender. That's what I mean with special. Not like 100 million. If I want Juve to pay 100 million, it needs to be really special, world class. If Premier League pays 100 million for the team, that's their problem. They paid 80 for Mason Mount or whatever. Like that's their loss, not me. I don't want a club ever to pay that for those type of players. They kind of ruined the market for everybody. But that's what I mean with special, like something different than normal. What if you lose on Koopmeiners? I don't know. There are no other links, so it's him or who knows. 60 nowadays gets you Havertz and Cucurella. Yeah, no, I think was Havertz not even more than 60? Could be, but like Cucurella, Caicedo from Brighton, 100. He has absolutely nothing special. I've watched him ride the bench in the Belgium league because he was absolutely rubbish. Like he has nothing special. That's not special. That's just idiotic moves. That has nothing to do with a player being special. That has all to do with a club being run by idiots. That's the only explanation. That has nothing to do with the player. Yeah. But people, I'm going to wrap this one up because I have not really much to say anymore. I was just going to talk about Thuram. It's basically here we go. And then now it's just the waiting game to see what the next move is going to be, in or outgoing. We know Chiesa is on the edge of being out. It's just waiting. We know Milik is on the market. We know Rugani has offers. We know McKennie has no offers and is out of the club right now. So a lot of things still need to be figured out. Hans, Kostic, Sule, what's going to happen with Sule, what's going to happen with Huijsen, Sancho waiting. So a lot of things still in the pipeline. It's just, I think it needs that one domino effect, and not just from us, also from another team or from another player to actually kickstart everything in motion. Because right now, if I'm being completely honest, throughout Europe, it's extremely quiet. still, it's not really kicking off, because if it's kicking off, you get a deal basically every single day, you know, from a good club, like a top club. And right now, it's relatively quiet. It's probably needs some time still, but we will see. We will see. Maybe Di Marzio has something, or for Alfredo Pedula in about, I don't know, an hour or so, that we can discuss, and I will discuss that in due time. But that's it for me, people. Hit the like button if you haven't liked the video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification as well, because as soon as a new jersey drops, I will do a giveaway. I will give away the new jersey, so stay tuned for that. Without a sponsor, so it might be even better. Not might, it will be better. So stay tuned for that, and that's it for me, people. Have a good day.